Being a police officer is a job that comes with a lot of responsibility. Police officers are expected to uphold the law and remain as shining examples of how citizens should behave. Sadly, however, some cops abuse their position of authority in an attempt to satisfy their own personal desires. This is Charlene O'Bannon, a prison officer accused of sleeping with an inmate.
I was expecting a C for some reason.
Most people are.
S-H.
A-R-L-E-E-N.
An official investigation was opened after officers reported seeing Charlene and a prisoner named Jason Parker together multiple times. Charlene did her best to keep her relationship with Jason under the radar, but little did she know that the detectives already had all the evidence and were about to expose her brutally.
What's your first name?
Charlene, S-H-A-R.
Oh, hold on. I messed up.
When confronted with the allegations leveled against her, Charlene claimed innocence and pretended she didn't know anything about the allegations against her.
Well, I want to know from you. Like, I'm not trying to go off rumor. I just want to know what happened. It's my job just to find the truth, and that's it.
Yeah.
Charlene believes the officers have no way of backing up their allegations, and she is confident that there is no evidence proving she had an intimate relationship with Jason Parker.
What do you mean the same thing?
Like when I told you that we had something going on, a few years back, and he ended up here. And
Charlene denies ever spending time alone with Parker, claiming that the only time she's had contact with Jason was the one time when she spoke with him outside the jail bathroom, and that it was a jealous inmate that started the rumors. The detectives, however, are about to share the first piece of evidence that proves Charlene is hiding something.
And where would you think that, this allegation will come from if there's nothing to it?
Well, I had a feeling this was coming. So there was an inmate named Coker.
Turns out Jason and Charlene knew each other before prison, and they knew each other quite well before they found themselves there. This led them to exchanging jokes, but nothing else if Charlene is to be believed. But what Charlene didn't know was that detectives had recorded phone calls from within the prison that told an entirely different story.
It was just like a group of friends that we all, and then some friends brought other friends, and other friends brought other friends.
You remember any of your friends that were there?
Only 15 minutes into the interview, and the detectives have already pointed out big holes in Charlene's original story. She's been caught lying and has admitted to calling him multiple times from her phone and having sexual relations with him in the past. At this point, it's pretty easy to tell that there's something far deeper than what Charlene is willing to admit. But the detectives have some more questions from the physical evidence that they have.
You kind of stood there and thought,
Oh, right now.
Parker, yeah, I think he's in pot 6. But
Keep in mind that Charlene has worked at this prison for a while, so she'll know the inner workings of the prison system, such as patrol officer schedules and security cameras' blind spots. With such an in-depth knowledge of the prison, you'd expect Charlene to be able to successfully hide any traces of her prison romance. However, it seems she had forgotten a few vital pieces of information, one of which is the fact that all calls going in and out of the prison are recorded and can be monitored. But thanks to the detectives, she's about to be reminded of this fact. Hearing recordings of your voice can be embarrassing for some people. Now imagine how embarrassing it would be to listen to your sexual phone calls in silence in a room with 2 detectives as you realize that you've just been caught red-handed. But judging from the contents of the phone call so far, there is no evidence that Charlene and Jason had engaged in any sexual acts. That was soon about to change though, as Jason would go on to incriminate Charlene on the calls.
for the iPhone, it's just saying. So basically, what the software does, it just takes everything off of it. So it's saying that you all put that. Give it that and just.
Even with all the evidence displayed, Charlene was not about to go down easily. The detectives try asking her if she thinks Jason would cover for her, but she sticks to her story, claiming everything that happened between her and Jason had happened out of prison. Even with the phone call, it is still technically possible that the story is true, but this raises the question of why the couple would be recounting events from over 3 years ago in such detail, especially considering how she struggled earlier to try to remember the details about the relationship. Charlene stuck with her story even with the detectives pointing out how the story didn't add up. At least she did until she said this.
So it's brought to my attention, you mentioned there have been some drug stuff in the jail. Do you have anything to do with that at all?
No, absolutely not. I've never even smoked weed in my life.
So I guess they have some evidence they've gathered, like...
Now the cat was out of the bag and she had confessed. But this wasn't the end of the matter. When it comes to relationships between officers and inmates, there's always a question of consent. And while Charlene and Jason may have had consensual relationships before Jason's imprisonment, it is irrelevant in this matter. A 2005 report states that federal law criminalizes all sexual relations and contact between inmates and prison staff, and that all sexual relations between staff and inmates are considered abuse even though the act would have been considered consensual had it occurred outside of the prison. This is a result of the huge amount of inmate abuse observed at prisons, with as much as 12 to 14% of inmates experiencing sexual abuse in 1996. This policy was put in place to protect inmates from abuse, and this is the policy that Charlene ignored. Turns out Charlene would lose her job and would only be allowed back in jail for the 100 days that she would be made to serve after being found guilty of sexual activity with a person in custody. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments, and please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos.